Woohoo! I actually can join without no issues, so it looks like all that is Fixaroonie along with other stuff. Uh, what I am now going to look at is just the creation engine since I've been talking about it other times. Um, 'Cause I wanted to get into that along with do this Kotaku with the misguidance and stuff like that. So yes, it's a Kotaku article, and it is made by Jason Schreier. So when it comes to certain news articles, just specifically, it all depends on the editor, the person who is writing either the article or the column, all that jazz. And yeah, that's what the big thing matters. Especially since Jason Strider left, a lot of people don't have much reasons why to go to Kotaku because they can't go to many followers. That's a big reason why when it comes to following these big news sites, it's important just to look at the person who writes themselves. Along with, if you want, you can actually have them highlight, see their bio and stuff, but also see the articles along here, posts, and other things you have here. It's it's pretty informative, and if you actually do look at that, you'll get a lot of things out of it because this article's point of view, everything like that. And it doesn't cover everything because only a certain amount of people can cover a certain amount of things, so it's just one person. Same thing when it came to content creator, where they can't really talk about a bunch of things. Is one specific thing because they only have that time of day to do that, and that's the importance of it. But yeah, we're gonna see what he actually talks about the controversy of the creation engine, and I found the wiki for this creation engine. I always call it the creative engine, but it's a creation engine. I think people also keep on using Cursor because I've always been saying that for like quite a while. But oh well. We don't really use the creation engine because it's an old piece of technology and it's really only used by the Bethesda team. Not much when it came to third parties like people use Unreal or Unity. But yes, Saruni. Also, besides that, I'm going to, as the tag points it out, put some radio. What I do want to put is I'm thinking of what I'm feeling. I think I'm just gonna put this in the meantime. Do 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 do. All nice and clear. Also, let me actually look at the mic. Also, if the mic is sound different, it's just because I'm actually using a different mic, a quality mic that is not the Yeti. However, I'm using the cable, so I do wonder if there any issues that came across when I was using the Yeti while using OBS, using all this stuff, might have damaged it, because one thing I do know is that whenever something has a distinct pattern, something can develop. Example is the Yeti actually kept on working and there's this pop explosion noise and everything gets messed up. So I have this backup thing that came with it, and also with this mic I also have multiple cables and adapters that I can actually switch out, use for repair. So least this thing is good for the long run. And let me see how this goes. I got it. And yeah, I could also use this for karaoke. Can't bring it out too much because the cable is between the legs of the light. From there, yeah, I should get it from the picture. From there, not there. Yeah. So I can't simply just yank it out and this light just loses me and then you see me half face. Yeah. Alrighty. I wanted to talk about this creation engine. Jig. I gotta hydrate. Because it's makes me feel good. Creation engine. The creation engine is a third video game engine created by Bethesda Game Studios based on the Game Royal engine. The creation engine has been used to create role-playing video games such as Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim, Fallout 4, and Fallout 76. Development. Developer here, middleware here, license because from what we learned last time, the middleware is important when it came to how an engine is functioning and stuff. A lot of the screenshots, Skyrim, all that. Third person? No, it's a first person image because you can see the hand. It's not third person. Because why the game when it comes to third person is just a bit wacky. There's many complaints about that anyway. Oh yeah, you could also see my eye here. Development. After using the Game Royal engine to create the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, and Fallout 3, so it's the Game Royal engine. Okay, I was wrong about that. I'm gonna highlight here because it doesn't show images or anything, but I digress. Bethesda decided that Game Royal's capabilities were becoming too outdated and began work on the creation engine for the next game, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, by forking the code base used for Fallout 3. Following the completion of Skyrim, Bethesda set out to enhance the graphical core of the creation engine by first adding a physical base deferred render to allow more dynamic lighting and to paint materials, objects, surfaces with realistic materials. Bethesda, yeah, I'm getting to a ergonomic stance. You can't see my head though, so oh man, should I do like that? Okay. Camera here. Oh, okay. Let's just read it as is. I feel comfy now, so I'm gonna be pretty comfy in this stream. On the creation of Skyrim, Bethesda set out to enhance the graphical core of the creation engine by the first adding a physical base deferred renderer to allow for more dynamic lighting and to paint materials, objects, surfaces with realistic materials. Bethesda worked with technology company NVIDIA to implement volumetric lighting through a technique that makes use of hardware tessellation. Additionally, the outdated version of the creation engine powering Bethesda's Fallout 4 offers more enhanced character generation. Shortly before the release of Fallout 4, while Bethesda Game Studios began development of Starfield and downloadable content for Fallout 4, which is currently Bethesda Game Studios Austin, at the time Battlecry Studios, was tasked with modifying the creation engine to support multiplayer content in preparation for the development of Fallout 76. In conjunction with id Software, like Bethesda Softworks, a ZeniMax Media subsidiary, Okay, one more time. Cinemax Media's subsidiary, Battlecry, attempted to integrate its Quake netcode into Fallout 4's engine. It was considered a challenge by experts in the online game industry. The primary issue facing the developers was the components of the core engine dating back to the game rule used in the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, such as quest or workload. Oh, such as quests or world loading were designed centering on a single player dubbed Atlas by developers for its role to holding up the fabric of the loaded game world, a paradigm that would need to fundamentally change to allow multiple players spanning multiple worlds. Additional characters just to aid that. Okay, the volume is good, so going back to the grind, development. In addition to the network changes to the engine used in Fallout 4, the Fallout 76 implementation of the engine was described at the game's E3 reveal as having all new rendering, lighting, and landscape technology. Bethesda Game Studios claims the improvements also allowed for a 16 times increase in details and the ability to view unique weather systems occurring at a distance. 16 times the detail, as Todd said. And also when it came to new rendering and lighting, it's really just in a specific image screenshot of the game, a viewpoint that you're looking directly, you can see a bunch of lightings and stuff. But if you move away from that position, you can easily see the rays just not even reflected on the characters, reflecting that position and stuff. There's a lot of videos about 76 and so many game bugs and stuff like that. But yeah, features. Features. Havoc Behavior is a flexible animation tool that allows the developers to blend animations together in a few clicks. This means that animations such as walking and running can be blended together seamlessly to make the animations look much more realistic. This important addition enabled Bethesda to improve character animations in their games. An upgradable version of Radiant AI allows non-player characters, NPCs, to dynamically react and interact with the world around them. The player can observe an NPC eat breakfast. The player can observe an NPC eat breakfast, not eating. Okay. NPC eat breakfast, go to work, go to the pub, and then go to sleep. The improved AI allows NPCs to react to the player's actions, and they can become friendly or hostile to the player because of their actions. So, go to the pub. I do wonder if they have it 76, because I know when it came to Fallout, they basically say bar, and I know that because since everything is 1950s themes and stuff, bars is a thing, especially in diners. Like in Fallout 3, they actually mention the diner where they all celebrate your character's birthday. And, you know, bars are really a thing that exists in the US and not much on the UK or Commonwealth countries. Those exist there, but not really in the US. And it's important because Fallout was also satire with 1940s and 1950s Americana and all that. So yeah, what I do wonder is 76 they actually do call bars or places hubs, or this is just a thing in the wiki article actually just write hub, because maybe the person just never goes to bars, probably goes to pubs. Or maybe it's those people who go to pubs in the US and just refuse to go to bars because of the scene or who they hang out with and stuff. At least I know pubs have good food compared to bars. Okay. Moving on to Radiant Story allows for NPCs to dynamically create new quests for the player in unexplored places. In the previous games, Bethesda licensed Speed Tree for trees and foliage, but when making Skyrim with Creation Engine, the Bethesda team made their own foliage rendering system. The new system is capable of rendering larger amounts of foliage at one time and allows for more freedom with animation. Freedom with animations. Oh, excuse me. It's already 50 minutes. Let me check. Everything is. Anything curable? Good. This is interesting. I believe my connection just timed out. So it doesn't say that there's any issues there. But I don't know about it under the stream. Really? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, it was just my computer. Now, what I do wonder is that if in the stream for other users they're actually not hearing my voice because it's either some parts are muted and stuff. Because there's only one user watching another user, which this user is reading something that another user edited. So, yeah. That's how it goes. You're only limited with so much you can do. So, let's carry on. Creation Kit. Creation Kit. The Creation Kit is a modeling tool for Creation Engine games. The Creation Kit takes advantage of the Creation Engine's modular nature. It was created by Bethesda Game Studios for the modding community of the Elder Scrolls series. The tool can be used to create worlds, races, NPCs, weapons, update textures, and fix bugs. Mods created using this tool are hosted on the Steam Workshop, Nexus Mods, Bethesda.net, and various other sites. A Fallout 4 capability creation kit was released in April 2016. I wonder when I'm mispronouncing this right now. A Fallout 4 capability. Capability. Huh. I only say I could say it a second time, so let's do this. A Fallout 4 capability creation kit was released in April 2016. Okay, it's the grammar. It's the grammar. Got confused with that. Alrighty. Game using Creation Engine. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim 2011. And then you also have the other editions, the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition, and then Skyrim VR, so 2016-2017. Fallout 4 2015 to VR 2017, and then 76, which is 2018. 2 years. That's when 76 came out. Along here is references and stuff like that. I also forgot to go with this content because there's not much. It talks about it, and yeah, it's just interesting how the Creation Engine has created issues between main circles just because of the game journalism, journalist articles, and other editors bringing it in the forefront stuff. So, not just referring to personality heads and reporting the views, but also community members. That's the reason why the Creation Engine is popular, because there's a thing called 76 that have brought up these issues, and nothing else like legal issues like Unreal between Fortnite and Battlegrounds. Yeah, that's what drives your taste. For Game Bro, I could go on this later because there's not much, and yeah, there's actually a more lucrative history with that. Of also not just being a first party, but also a third party engine. But I am going to talk about this meat and potatoes finally, which is the controversy over Bethesda's game engine is misguided. 2018 from Jason Schreider. So this is a Kotaku Jason Schreider article, and we'll just read by here. This morning, new headlines and YouTube videos across the internet declare that Bethesda will not change game engines for the upcoming games Starfield and The Elder Scrolls 6, setting off a wave of outrage that had become oh so common in the world of video games. This story, however, is misleading, based mostly on speculation and widespread lack understanding of what a game's engine actually is. Yeah, sorry about that. I said lack of. So it's stated with a November 2 Forbes article that blamed Bethesda's game engine for Fallout 76 technical issues and graphical shortcomings. This article quoted a June 2018 interview in the German outlet GameStar with Bethesda creative director Todd Howard. Here's what he said. Quote, for Fallout 76, we have changed a lot. The game uses a new renderer, a new lighting system, and a new system for a new system for the landscape generation. For Starfield, even more of it changes, and for the Elder Scrolls 6, out there on the horizon, even more. We like our editor. It allows us to create worlds really fast, and the modders know it really well. There are some elementary ways we create our games, and that we continue because that lets us be efficient, and we think it works best. End quote. Although the quote itself isn't particularly controversial, its sudden rediscovery has led to blazing takes everywhere. One article on the website Push Square has thousands of shares on Reddit and Facebook with its declaration that Bethesda will keep the same fundamental game engine for the Elder Scrolls 6 Starfield. End quote. Yang Ye, a YouTube provocateur? Hey, Yang Ye's provocateur. Interesting. There's not many provocateurs in the world. But then again, I imagine one of the provocateurs who actually intentionally sabotage things because, Jesus, that takes a lot of time. So, Yang Ye, a YouTube provocateur, also talked about this issue to his hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Quote, Fallout 76 in particular highlights more than ever just how utterly inefficient this game engine is with its optimal performance and general lackluster graphical fidelity compared to other titles of its time, he said. It's true that Bethesda's games have long been criticized for their game-breaking bugs and inability to reach the beautiful graphical standards of other high-end games, but there might be many reasons for that. One of those reasons might be their ambition. Few other games offered as much world interaction as Skyrim or Fallout 4. Perhaps another reason is Bethesda's internal processes or programming guidelines or development timeline, or even some busted line of code buried somewhere in a file that nobody has touched since 2004. It's hard to say. Blaming Bethesda's game engine is misguided. However, because the word engine, quote, engine, end quote, itself is a misnomer, an engine itself isn't a single program or a piece of technology, it's a collection of software and tools that are changing constantly. Say that Starfield and Fallout 76 are using the same engine, quote, quote, because they might share an editor, and other common traits is like saying Indian and Chinese meals are identical because they're both feature chicken and rice. Not rice and chicken, chicken and rice. A lot of people like chicken. I mean, so many people in the world do. Especially fried chicken. There's like so many places that have fried chicken. Like Korea? Hey, it's good. But, okay. What we see on the outside, like a game's graphical style, its animation system, and its physics can be changed in all sorts of ways without switching to a new engine. The term, quote, engine, end quote, is thrown around often among video game fans and pundits, mostly in a derogatory way. When a game looks or runs badly, people blame the engine, whether it's through insulting comments about Unity or hackneyed adjectives like creaky. Okay, I'm gonna go read this back. Whether it's through insulting comments about Unity or hackneyed adjectives like creaky, wrote the Forbes article, it feels like every month we achieve some new level of detail and beauty with a new release, and yet something like Fallout 76 comes along and it's just noticeable worse than everything else with an engine that feels like it's about to crumble into dust. Despite bolting on new parts and upgrades to try to keep it going. To understand why this trend is so silly, let's run a quick refresher on what a video game engine actually is. Say you've just made Super Plumber Adventure, you sold a couple of copies, and how you want to make a sequel, which you know will share many of the same traits. You will want your plumber to run from left to right. You still want mushrooms to make him bigger, and you still want coins to disappear when he collects them. Okay, so it's just Luigi. Okay, got it. You could always say it's the Luigi games. Wait, what? Oh, okay, I see. He was making a joke, but I'm not laughing. Okay. I digress. Rather than write new code and create new animations for all of these things, you might take what you built for the first game and reuse it. Bundling all those features together as a physics system, combine those physics with some other systems like a level editor and a memory management tool, and you got an engine, a collection of software that can be used for game to game in order to avoid redundant work. Super Plumber Adventure 2 will hopefully take a lot less time now that you have already got so much done. The funny thing about Super Plumber Adventure is, well, 2, is that it was actually a different game in Japan, and they reskinned it to the American audience. The true sequel for Plumber Adventure 2 is, in the States, is 3. That's why, canon-wise, you have Super Mario Bros. And then you have Super Mario Bros. 3. That is the true sequel in the timeline. 2, yeah, that's just a reskin, which, some games later try to have canon, and it's all confusing mess and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, last thing I want to mention is, rather than write new code and create new animations for all these things, you will have it bundling all those features together as a physics system with a memory management tool and other stuff, which it is part of the middleware. So me actually learning about game engines, because I really didn't know much of the importance of middleware until I started thinking about it after reading it. Yeah, I could actually say that part of it he explains is true, but that's pretty much every game engine. And there's also reasons why you still have a different game engine. So when we use terms like Unreal or Frostbite, let me say that again. Unreal or Frostbite. that's what we're talking about. A framework for making games. These are not infallible or immutable. You know what? Let me look at the pronunciation. I I believe it's immutable, not subject to creation. Okay, let's hear this.
Immutable.
Immutable. Okay. Immutable. 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 These are not immutable creations, and in fact, a game's programmers will alter an engine's features constantly based on what suits their needs. Immutable. Comma, most game studios have tool programmers who dedicate their entire jobs for creating no, entire jobs to working on these features. Often, fans will associate certain engines with specific graphical styles, but that can be misleading because two games can run on the same engine but have very different art direction. Both the retro style Octopath Traveler and realistic looking Days Gone use Unreal Engine 4. Both the sports series FIFA and the upcoming shared world shooter Anthem use Frostbite. This is 2008, so you don't have the whole thing that comes out, especially with the provocateur Yang Ye trying to, under the behest of his actions, destroy Anthem's good dignity in the game industry. 2008 articles, but it's just interesting reading these articles, especially if you read like old-fashioned articles, like yeah, let's go personal, like reading old articles of what was it? Oh man, the build up to World War II and then the Cold War. A bunch of people just kept on making fun of some things that, oh man, that's just that is just cruel. Don't make fun of specific things just because you disagree. But you know, that's that was the world back then. They were pretty sensitive with particular things and insensitive with other things, and that was just life. But yeah, engines are it's iterative. Engines are iterative. Let me search that up because I don't even know the meaning of it. Iterative, repeating, repetitious.
Iterative.
Iterative. Okay, well, let me practice on it. Iterative. Okay, not bad for the first word. Engines are iterative, and any game studio that uses the same engine from game to game will be modifying it constantly. It, as Todd Howard said in the very quote that caused so much outrage, the retortative, oh man, he's using fancy language. Let me learn them. To say or do again or repeatedly. So repeat. Okay.
Reiterate.
Reiterate. Yeah, I never used this word before. So reiterate.
Reiterate.
Reiterate. Okay. That's reiterate. So, oh yeah. Might as well practice in the camera and stuff like that. So, with the E, it's just a downward slant. E. Then it. Have your tongue circled apart like it. Then rate. So, flat A. I don't know much about this one because as an English person, or a person what's it, dominant ape status, well, really I'm nothing more than just a slim monkey, so I'm not that strong. Don't know much of languages. That's only so much I could understand. Because in English we don't have that. So reiterate. Just take it slow. Practice on figure out how to pronounce it, and there you go. Bada bing, bada boom. You got this. So let's repeat again. Reiterate. I'll play this for you.
Reiterate.
Also, it seems like reiterate is not just a word, but it's also a 8th full-length album. Christian hip-hop group Grits. Like the food Grits. I have not had grits for a while. Okay, so we're gonna go to a second adventure. And my keyboard is not working, so that's where. Come on, keyboard. What? Wait a second. I'm touching my keyboard and all stuff, and nothing occurs. Oh, now it does that. That's the first. Everything is a first with the docking station. So this is grits. It's not this creamy thing. This is good crap. I'm talking about this crap. Oh man, I remember grits. You eat grits because people say it's healthy, but it really depends how you make it. If you're in the chow hall and you try to eat grits that's just been molding itself and its own ecosystem, that shit ain't healthy. Yeah, and you actually put your Texas Pete because for some reason they don't have what is it? Much other hot condiments like. I keep on thinking of Texas, Jalisco Chick-fil-A sauce. Not even barbecue sauce. It's usually always Texas Pete. Why the hell do they? Yeah, you guys, you won't understand, but I always wonder why the hell did the chow hall supply room always had a bunch of Texas Pete? Is it because fools like that older, huge masses just do that just because it's cheap? Or I don't know, maybe someone just have a preference. Hey, I'm the person who's in charge was giving out shit tickets, and I can say what I want to say because if you don't want to listen to me, you're not gonna get any shit tickets. You're gonna have a bad time. I bet those people who do that also get the food they wanted because some person really is just likes Texas Pete because he just kept on eating it when I was a kid. Oh boy. That is the logistics core. But yeah, anyway, we're going through here. We're almost done. I have time, so yay. To reiterate, quote, for Fallout 76, we have changed a lot. The game uses a new renderer, a new lighting system, and a new system for the landscape generation. For Starfield, even more of its changes, and for the Elder Scrolls 6, out there on the horizon even more, end quote. Often aspects of an engine will be in development alongside the game. In other words, Bethesda's engine in 2018 looks drastically different than it did in 2013. Okay, yeah, you just said that, alright. And by the time the Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, 2024, question mark, it's an important question because we don't know if we're all going to be alive in 2024. Most likely, we're all going to just forget what time exists, and when it just pops up, people will be like, Elder Scrolls 6? Oh man, I could afford that, but I need food, and I need to pay off all these subscriptions. That's the priority in the future. Oh yeah, so Six is probably gonna be cost like $200 because there's probably not gonna be a cap or $60 games. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Nintendo. It will look like something else entirely. The editor might be similar, as Howard implies in that quote, but that's just one component of an engine that has been changing for years and years. This is not uncommon, by the way, as one game developer pointed out to me this morning. Even the ubiquitous Unreal Engine 4 is still built on a foundation that started with the first Unreal, which came out in 1998. When I broke the news in June that Fallout 76 was an online survival game, one person familiar with its development told me that Bethesda's engineers have spent years adding multiple capabilities to the engine, which was a challenging and complicated endeavor that required rewriting a whole lot of code. On the outside, Fallout 76 might look similar to Fallout 4, but peeking into its guts would tell a different story. To say they use the same engine might technically be accurate, but it's misleading. Oh, that's why we look at technicalities, just to make sure we don't get misleading. Technicalities show relevant evidence, receipts, a thing to look back, something tangible. After all, the code was very important when a modern hacker, I'll say just modern in this case, went to a secret dev room and got so many loot, so many valuables and assets from there. And that was all from Fallout 4. Many videos talk about that, and it's interesting. Finally, last paragraph. The concept of a game engine has become a bugbear for fans, and with Bethesda's long-running reputation for nasty glitches, it's always tempting to find factors to blame. Fans and pundits should absolutely criticize games like Fallout 76 for their ridiculous bugs and graphical failings, but today's controversy and the notion that the next gen game Starfield and the Elder Scrolls 6 would use the same engine as today's games is misguided at best. So bugbears. How about this? Because I don't know much about this young Yair being a provocateur, because maybe he has a personal life where he's probably a I'm just thinking of a backstory behind you. Okay, yeah. A troublemaker who creates a lot of the scenarios, like discord everywhere and destroys everything in his path, relationships, events. That type of provocateur. That's what I imagine. Because, looking at ancient provocateurs, that's what usually people would do. Like, was it anarchists, terrorists, stuff? But this is all under Kotaku. So I don't think a provocateur under Kotaku would be the same as a provocateur from Vice or AP News. Besides that, he also used the term bugbear. So, hey, young Yair being a bugbear. That's nice. Anyway, let me actually look at that then. Should I actually look at... Yeah, besides me looking just the term provocateur, I should just actually type in the whole thing to see what comes up. Come on. YouTube. A YouTube provocateur. YouTube provocateur response to Kotaku's defense of Bethesda's game engine. Okay. Young, versus Jason Schreier. Young Ye versus Jason Schreider. Young Ye and Jason Schreider discuss what's right. Okay, yeah, whatever. YouTube provocateur. Young Ye. Yeah. So other people are actually supporting it and stuff like that. What is it? Agent provocateur. How to use provocateur in one sentence. Did you know? Provocateur, a person who provokes trouble, causes dissension, and the like agitator sees more. 3 affordable fragrances agent provocateur. What? Is she an agent provocateur from the what, a fragrance company? Okay, so the funny bit is that Young Ye is an agent provocateur for some corporation that's going to get Bethesda's, so they could support his interest, and he could get paid a flat stack of money because they work out of commission. That's why he's the provocateur. And just talk about creation. Talk about the creation engine, and he's not a bugbear. Okay. Yeah, you probably forget it, but just know this. Titles can change, people can be named differently, so probably later on life, he's not going to be referred to as the provocateur of video game society, but just like bugbear, living on his days till we... Yeah, news. And I'm just looking at the rain like this cat is just to mine what I just read. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Now, what I do want to look at is more of the Forbes article, because it seems like this article relies on that. And we're going to go back to Forbes, because a lot of non-focus news outlets that talk about video games, because usually authors are in charge with the gaming section and game journalism, is interesting. Because what is it? I know one article that I found very fascinating was a Vice article talking about the MLG community under the European scene, because when it came to COD 4, there was 2 MLG scenes, because there was 2 different versions of games, where you had MLG where people just played the vanilla game versus a pro mod version that were played in other countries, not just in Europe, but also when it came to parts of Asia and the Middle East. And you know, I found that very fascinating, because what I remember, I just skimmed through that article, and it pointed out some things that refer to other articles, along with, you know, the geopolitical reasons why. Like when it gets to the Middle East, it's just way easier to play COD 4 under the PC versus console. But you know, that's obvious reasons, but I found that fascinating. I wanted to actually read more on that so I can know what I remembered or misremembered. But yeah, let's go through here. He's only have a few bit time, and yeah, should I skim through this? Okay, there's quite a lot to read. Let's go down here. This is not the rest of it. We're not going to talk about freaking beds and stuff, because I don't want to talk about it right now. But yeah, this is most of the article just talks about bed mattresses and stuff. Also this, the Fear the Walking Dead Season 6 Episode 6 revealed a ridiculous twist. November 16, 2020. So that is recent. Okay, so recent articles, advertisements, stuff like that. In this article is more than 2 years old. Yeah, November 2, 2018. Okay, sure. Well, for this case, let me cross-reference the dates. Cross-referencing referring to just checking one reference like this source and then this other. It's a reference because I'm only picking one particular thing, then the entire source, and just examining it. So this was November 14th, and this one came out in November 2nd. Anyway, I do want to go to the Game Royal, but well, yeah, let's just look through this. Look at this Paul Tresser. I haven't heard about him much. See what he has. Latest archive. Let's go to the latest. 6 months later, yeah, Netflix, General Impact, Play Things, okay. Yes, I'm also looking at the images and stuff like that because I actually understand this pop culture stuff. That's what he focuses on, and also that's another reason why now there's a way people actually look at it. Just look at the headlines and things, and usually people can just get their sources out there. That's why a bunch of social media sites like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram actually reign. Never reading the full articles. So acknowledge that and just know that, hey, if you want to get to these sources, actually read it, like this Kotaku article or later this Forbes. But yeah, a bunch of new media, mainly from Netflix and video games. Fantastic. Okay, I remember you when it came to Forbes articles. But yeah, we could log that out. And I want to talk about the Game Royal because I already said that, and I want to know more. This related. Okay. So, Game Royal. Game Royal, formerly NetherMerse until 2003, is a game engine developed by GameBase Co. Ltd. And GameBase USA that incorporates a set of tools and plugins, including runtime libraries supporting video game developers for numerous cross-platform game titles in a variety of genres, and serve as a basis for the creation engine. 1997, 23 years ago, damn. Game Royal 2012, written C#. Alrighty. History. Numerical Design Limited (NDL) was founded in 1983, mostly doing contract work for the government and CAD, so CAD clients in the computer graphics sector, though also some game developers such as Interactive Magic. This work led to the production of NetherMerse game engine in 1997, evolving into a Game Royal by 2003. So Interactive Magic, it's an American video game based on Bill Stately, co-founder of CEO of Hyperpose Software. Okay. Oh, and also here's content, history, features, games, etc. Half of it is just resources. That's pretty much it. Now let's go to our features. Features. The Game Royal system is a suite of modular C# libraries. Game developers can combine and extend the libraries to modify the engine for a particular game. Game Royal's design emphasizes a rapid prototyping approach aimed at an iterative development process. The Game Royal engine supports several development platforms, including Microsoft Windows, DirectX 6 through 11, Mac, iOS, Android, Linux, OpenGL, GameCube, Wii/WiiWare, PSX, PS2, PSP, PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One. So yeah, PXX, PlayStation. Home video game console development and marketed by Sony Computer Entertainment. Oh yeah, it's a home, but it's not a home entertainment system. But you know, they have to label that because the crash made a lot of people question, like, oh man, Jimmy, I don't want to buy you a solely game system. Oh, what about this NES? This is an entertainment system. It's not a video game system, even though you can't put discs. The only time you could do that was, well, mainstream wise, PS2, because of that was the cheapest DVD player people couldn't buy. I remember that because I tried to convince my parents like that, and they did not want to get it. But joke's on them, they're using the Xbox because it's a fabulous Windows media, especially with using freaking HBO Max. They don't have it in Roku. That's why your business is not doing so good, HBO Max. Get it on Roku. Game Royal 4.0. In the latest version of the engine, designed to merge the original Game Boy system with the Lightspeed spin-off games. Game Boy is used by numerous companies with the game industry. Below is a sample of titles, not titties, titles that have used the engine. Oh shoot, I actually slipped up. Okay. Below is a sample of titles that have used that engine. To Atlantica. So are all these different dates? I swear there wasn't different dates. Yeah. 2011, 2005, 2008. Yeah, this is confusing because this is all alphabetized. I'd rather just had the year, but oh well. It's not that. I'm not the main person who looks at these, but yeah. Bully Scott Curve Edition, Catherine, Dawntite, Eden Eternal, Ball 3, yeah, we have also New Vegas, Rocksmith, Shigemani Tensei, Imagine. So it's interesting a lot of third parties actually use the Game Royal engine. And what is it? Let me see if there's Persona 5. No, there's none. Something about Persona 5. I don't know, it's Power Up. Here was Persona 5, and I just misremembered the name. But yeah, the Catherine actually used that, but they switched it to their own proprietary engine. But they used some tools for that. I remember when it came to the... I keep on saying Vidocs, but no, that's only Bungie and I believe 343. I don't remember what they call it exactly. But yeah, the behind the scenes development of the games there. Talking about Catherine being actually a test starter with the Persona 5 and later on other games. But yeah, that actually explains why when it came to Catherine Full Body, they actually had to add new things creation-wise than just scrapping everything from old Catherine. Along with the Neltorm Wars games from 1990 then to these early days. So the last games I used was around 2011. No, 2015 with Maple Story 2 and Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex First Assault Online. Nexen Corporation. Am I missing anything? No, that's not 2017. That was just 2007. Yeah, that's just pretty much Game Boy. That's probably it. There's actually a lot more I could dig under it, but probably just follow the companies and see what they use. Also, something I do want to go back because I want to learn how to pronounce it is a... Is it an acronym? No, it's not. No, it is an acronym because it does stand for something. Okay, got it. So I know Co is corporation / company, depending on how you say, but what is Velt? Okay. Limited Company American Heritage? No. Okay, so let me learn about this abbreviation. LTD, Limited, Private Limited Company. Lasting Trading Day, Living in the Dream. Yeah, it's Private Limited Company. So company / limited type company? Wait a second. Let me look at the abbreviation. Private Limited Company. That's LTD. So yeah, you actually now see why it's not acronyms. There are just abbreviations because some of them don't make entirely sense if you try to figure out the abbreviations. Sometimes, not all the times. So you always have to look at it. Alright, so yeah, we covered all of that, and I finally did it. Now for the sports one, I want to actually skim through this and see what's up with this. So Fallout 76 shows Bethesda's engine has gone from meme to liability. Yeah, the beta showed up. Bethesda's have been used in the meme industry. Yeah, I'm not gonna go over to the meme economy. Takes a good screenshot on the Fallout 6. Textures often look pretty rough, and then there's gameplay. Woohoo! All these ads, a huge turnoff. Oh yeah, he actually jokes on it. Makes sense because some of his articles he actually covered recently are about pop culture. And yeah, looking at forums and comments and making fun of something is part of pop culture because it brings people together and therefore talks about it. Therefore, creating pop in entertainment. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I will go back to his article tomorrow. And other than that, Obi has not crashed. I am happy. And I'll just be signing off. So, see you.